Joel has these things called armrests and a back to his chair.
Have a giant fucking monster
Oh
chair.
my god!
I know, yeah, it's your giant chair.
Fucking hell!
Don't we have 2 stools in here?
Well, one's behind a standing
This
desk.
is my standing stool.
The smallest chair in the room, and you
Joel's-
already have one.
Man, Joel was really excited for those cheesy
Good start.
bites.
No, I want to eat these things here.
Welcome to a segmented, rimmed bowl of dude soup. All the good stuff's on the edge, or so we're led to believe. Along with that, we have to mention that this episode is brought to you by Pizza Hut and their amazing Cheesy Bites pizza. The Cheesy Bites are back now with choice of one of 7 crust flavors like ranch or smokehouse barbecue. Pizza tech is getting pretty out there. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty insane. We ordered this yesterday, and you can order like all kinds of crust flavors, a flavored drizzle, which we got. Show them that spiral.
Yeah.
Damn,
That's the drizzle spiral there.
that's a vinaigrette, baby.
Oh, is it vinaigrette? Is that
yeah.
what it is? Ooh, it's really good. It's
So-
actually really good.
So get a one topping now for $11.99 at pizzahut.com. Remember, check out the Cheesy Bites pizza on pizzahut.com. Get a one topping for $11.99. And these fellas are going to be demolishing that thing throughout the podcast. So thank you, Pizza Hut, for your sponsorship.
Now,
Now,
give me a bite
are
of
you-
that cheesy.
Are you done with your ad read?
I am.
Can I riff a little bit?
Yeah, riff it.
How come in the Middle East they have pizzas that have the crowns? You ever see the crown crust pizzas?
No.
Yeah.
So they're basically they're like Cheesy Bites, but if you injected like hardcore crocodile like Russian drugs into them,
Basically, yeah.
What?
because
Pretty sweet.
they're at the end of each slice there's a little pizza pocket, and they'll put things in it like entire hamburgers.
Yeah.
Or chicken nuggets
Yep.
or something.
Yep.
They're the I think it's Pizza Hut crown crust pizzas.
Oh.
I don't get it,
And
man.
they look majestic.
South
so
Korea
I
gets
wanna
some
know
pretty
where those
fucking
are.
swank pizzas.
I have this one.
Whose idea was it to put olives on this bad boy?
I'd ordered a Supreme.
It is supreme, indeed.
Adam, would you like a piece?
Yeah.
Yeah, feed him a piece.
Oh no, I have to play this game.
Feed this starving boy.
Can I get the dip in there?
Yeah. Marinara sauce.
What game is this, by the way?
Volume by Mike
There's your
Bithell
dip.
of Thomas Was Alone fame.
Cool. I didn't like that game, so
Well,
here we are.
Have fun, Adam. We're having
Yeah.
fun here. This is a
Yeah.
What are
fun
we talking about
podcast for
today?
fun dudes. We got some actually pretty heady topics.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Really?
Star Wars Land.
I thought
Yeah.
there was no gaming news.
No, well, there isn't. You have to dig a little deep. So it's interesting. There is actually some really interesting news out there. Most of it doesn't revolve around Battlefront or screenshots
Oh.
or oh, don't do that,
That's
please.
gross.
I was going to mention, please, nobody smack into the microphone because that stuff makes me sick.
Who would do that?
Who would do that? But it's actual news about actual human lives that are being affected by actual trends in the industry, which means nobody's talking about it.
Battlefront.
Nope.
Oh.
No Battlefront today. First of all, so this actually was talked about a little bit, so don't let my cynicism affect it too much.
It will.
Chris Pranger, a localizer for Nintendo, was fired for being on a podcast. And he didn't really say anything incendiary. It's just that he was on a podcast. Right.
Like without approval of his overlords?
Exactly.
What was the podcast?
The podcast was the Part-Time Gamers podcast. And on it, he talked about the practicalities of localization. He basically tried to lay out for the audience, like we do so many times here, that Nintendo is a business, and when it comes to fans that have these weird demands about localization, like that dude who dropped into our E3 stream, they have to appreciate that just because they want it doesn't mean that there's a market big enough for it, and that Nintendo as a company can't localize everything because they have to make a educated decision about what the return on investment is going to be. That's what he said.
Okay.
Clearly breaking the internet, and Nintendo fired him.
Within days, right?
Yeah, it was very fast.
Well, I mean, we'll get into it, but Nintendo has a track record of, like, no Twitter accounts, no nothing.
No.
If you work for Nintendo, you are a Nintendo employee, and
You-
you speak the voice of Nintendo.
You're allowed to have a social media account. You are just at no point allowed to speak for the company.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to be, I think what they call it is a thought leader. Like, you're not allowed to sit out here and say, this is what Nintendo thinks. And whether or not you make it very clear that you're speaking from your own opinion, I think we all, we know that people on the internet tend to go a little insane with that stuff.
Yeah.
They'll take any comment and read it as doctrine from the company, even if it's just one guy saying this is just what I think, which is basically what happened.
Was the podcast good enough to hire him full time after they got him fired?
Well, it's called the Part-Time Gamers Podcast. So, I don't know.
Is that a good setup for a joke, or did you mean to say that?
Oh,
Good job, Joel.
Nice job, Paul.
Man, this pizza's lighting your comedy nerves on fire.
You want me to play? You can eat.
So it's interesting
Good luck
because
learning how to play
Yeah,
it.
thanks.
Just remember Thomas is alone. Forget everything. Ooh, pizza.
Never played that game.
there were a few people crying censorship, not too many, which kind of surprised me, to be honest. People seem to love throwing that word around these days.
I don't know. No one knows what words mean, and they like to use them a lot. So
That's very, very eloquently stated.
Echo chamber.
But
So I think it's like right trigger, put you up against the wall.
we're playing,
There you go.
yeah,
And then A, like I think makes noise. I
taps
don't
the
know.
wall. Well, you can just
Don't
run.
hit Y. Y resets you.
You can just run through whenever he's not looking, right?
Sorry. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, there
Pick
you
up the orbs. Sorry.
go. Okay,
So anyway, Lawrence hates the internet. Sorry.
No, I love the internet. It's wonderful. But the only thing about this particular story is that it's. I have said this a lot. Basically, that developers and like people that work at game companies are basically allowed to speak up a lot less than they ever have before, and it's.
Oh, fuck.
I can understand why, based on how people have reacted to things that have been said in the past. It's just not good for the bottom line. It basically doesn't help anybody, but it does create a situation in which
Was I
there's
supposed to go over there?
we go back to the shiny lights.
there's very little like from the source actual information about the state of games development and the state of
Yeah.
the industry now. So people are getting some warped ideas about how all this stuff works. And I'm not saying that I have all the answers, just that maybe acknowledge that you're not hearing a lot of first party information about how game development works these days. And this is why. Not because people get fired, but because nobody's allowed to talk. So, that's interesting. I don't know if you guys have any
The irony
thoughts
is
on
I
the
can't
matter.
talk right now because I have pizza in my
Yeah,
mouth.
being censored by Pizza Hut.
Oh.
I mean, it's not really censorship in the way that people think it means censorship. And I understand that you said
It's
that not a
actually-
lot of people are saying censorship.
They weren't.
It's the exact opposite. They have freedom of speech. They also have the freedom to get fired.
Yeah, and then they have the
Yeah.
freedom to go find another job.
Yeah. It's like you have all sorts of freedom.
So it all ties back to not to get all like communist or whatever, but
Uh-oh.
like the empowering of the worker, like that's kind of been pushed down a lot for a really long time. Basically, it's always been the case where workers work for a company and they have to do what the company says, even though the company doesn't exist without said workers creating product, whatever, right? So like, but if any person out there has had a job, like an actual job, then they would know that they probably signed some sort of document when they filled out a lot of paperwork when they started at that job, and some of that paperwork probably entailed what they can do and do not do within the confines of that job, right? And this is just another one of those documents, and so it doesn't really matter. This isn't exclusive to the gaming industry, but it's the kind of thing where like we just have to deal with this as long as we're going to have to deal with it, as long as the workers aren't empowered, and again, I'm not trying to cause a red scare.
Communist!
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying, like, that's just kind of the state of things.
there's the flip side too. There's like the Phil Fish side where he's completely indie and can say whatever he wants, and then game companies don't want to work with him anymore. So, like, there is something to be said about having a bit of decorum
Yeah.
in a professional workplace. If someone's calling you out and being like, your game sucks, blah blah blah, or localization sucks, like it doesn't really. What did that guy have to gain by going on this podcast and explaining how Nintendo works?
I don't think it's. I mean, again, for a lot of people, I don't think it's really about gaining anything.
No, not at all. He probably just want to go
People
in there
just
and
want-
talk to his friends.
People just want my experience is, most people just want people to know and appreciate what they do every day, all day.
Yeah.
And if you're a game developer and you're not really allowed to tell people
Yeah,
and you're
it
just
sucks.
slaving away, and especially with the ecosystem as it is now, where you spend 4 or 5 years on your life on a project, it comes out for one reason or another, people are like, this is the worst thing that humankind have ever made. And you just want to be like, guys, no, like I made this and I'm your friend. Like I like games too, and I wanted to make a cool game for you guys. And I'm sorry, but the marketing guy, like at E3, promised this feature, and we didn't know, and we didn't want him to, but he did it, so we had to put it in the game, and it doesn't work because we had 4 months to make it. So I'm sorry. Like I wanted to make a good game too. It's mostly empathy, honestly, is why people try to speak out.
Well, it's also you having worked in places where there are multiple people. there is rarely any place you can work where everyone shares the exact same mindset.
Yeah.
So you could have a bunch of guys who are working on, let's say, they're at Naughty Dog or something, and they're working on The Last of Us, and they're like, there's one guy being like, yeah, the PS3 is perfect for what we need. And there's some other engineer being like, fucking PS3 and like low memory, low RAM, piece of shit, fuck face. He's like, but did you make it work? He's like, yeah, I made it work, and it's done. But he probably doesn't share the same sentiments as the guys who are running the company, who maybe aren't looking at the day to day of like, you know, the nuts and bolts of it, and you never see that work actually get done.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like what you're saying. It's like it's really sad that like a lot of that work goes unnoticed, or I don't know, like it usually,
Unappreciated.
Yeah, it usually seems to be there's like one figurehead, like wow, Kojima's a genius. He made everything.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, I'll hold right trigger, and
And then
you'll
it's
hide behind
so
it.
it's interesting to bring up somebody like Kojima because typically, like the thing is, if you have over 500,000 followers on Twitter, you are allowed to say what you want because if you get you're basically immune from getting fired at that point. So it's just kind of funny how the politics have shaken out as far as that goes. But yeah,
But regardless, if you work for a giant corporation, chances are you probably shouldn't speak on their behalf,
yes, and
especially Nintendo.
the idea is also that
I just watched Kill Bill last night. The Yakuza crazy.
what? Oh yeah, they are.
Unrelated.
Yakuza?
They're gonna send. They're
Yakuza.
gonna send.
Yakuza.
Accuse you!
Oh, so your Tarantino thon is up to Kill Bill Volume
We're up
1.
to Kill Bill Volume 1. And I realized that there was an episode of ER I probably should have watched that he directed in like 1995.
Weird.
I know.
Oh, so are you just going through and watching all Quentin Tarantino's
Yeah,
stuff?
started over the weekend, just watched Reservoir Dogs, and then I was like, oh, let's just go through all of them. See what happens.
What insight have you gained?
Red Apple cigarettes are a thing. I don't know. I mean, like, I've been a Tarantino fan for a while, so I'm not really gaining anything new. They're just fun to watch.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if watching all of his works and back to back was giving you any new perspective on his career or his style.
No, it's funny because I did this before Avengers came out. Jess and I watched
video
every
Joss
every
Whedon?
Marvel movie
Got bored.
leading
Oh.
up to it.
We were talking
Not
about-
Joss Whedon. We watched all Buffy.
What, seriously?
Yeah, we watched all the like basically all the movies that led up to the
I thought we were
Avengers.
talking about
like in order.
podcast stuff.
Kinda. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
But so now since the
you're fucked.
Hateful Eight
Man, you are
trailer
fucked.
came out, we're like,
Oh,
we'll just
yeah.
watch all the Tarantino movies.
Oh no, that's awesome! What
Yeah,
Man,
Stealth.
game of the year.
Target
Nice
lost.
job.
I repeat, target lost.
So real quick, not that it's necessary in this case, but there is a important news story that's actually about censorship this week.
Oh.
Has nothing to do with video games, but I just wanted to present it for the sake of like trying to drive a stake in what is censorship and what isn't. If it's something the free market can solve, it's not censorship, basically. So in this case, Pranger agreed to work for Nintendo. He signed a big thing saying, "This is what I will and won't do while I'm in your employ." One of those things is I will never speak as like a thought leader for Nintendo the corporation.
Do we know this? Has he come out
You're right,
afterwards
no.
for this and like publish his employment contract?
So
and said
you're
what
right.
happened?
No, he didn't do any of that. So you're right. Okay, I don't know that happened. But what I've heard from other Nintendo employees is they are expressly forbidden from being like spokesmen for the company. And that's informal. Like they didn't show me their employment contract either, so I haven't verified it. But I don't believe they have any reason to lie about that stuff. So, but my point is like, if he didn't want to do that, he could work for a company that didn't have those, and presumably, if there were enough demand for that kind of freedom, that a company would come along and fulfill it, and they would get the best employees in the market. That's not censorship because there are options. This is censorship because a student is being sued for a 2-word tweet. Or rather, he is suing his school district for a
exciting.
2-word tweet.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a...
What do you say? Like,
What? What do you want? More pizza?
Hand me that box when you're done.
So this is about a student named Reed Sagehorn, which is a fucking awesome name.
sweet name.
Yeah, right?
it's either like a porn star or like an action hero from the 80s.
Was it a porn star or a porn star?
Yeah, horror porn star.
There was some element, some sort of controversy at that school that I'm not aware of. I didn't really read up on it, but the tweet in question is: did R. Sagehorn, this is on Twitter by the way, actually make out with and then redacted the name of a teacher? Because apparently there was some scandal
What
about
is
it.
the tweet? What did he say?
Sagehorn replied to that saying, "Actually, yes." That was his tweet.
Oh, okay.
So he's claiming to have made out with this teacher that I assume was part of some kind of scandal at the school. He's claiming that the tweet was obviously fake and tweeted in jest. However, he was then chewed out by his principal. He was suspended 2 days later for the tweet, and then that suspension was extended to several months.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
Reed.
after his suspension got extended for several months, he was transferred to a different school. His parents transferred him out of that school. And now he is suing the school district, claiming punitive damages, an expungement of all disciplinary actions on his school record, and attorney's fees.
Well, he's in high school?
Yes.
Okay.
Public high school.
So I guess here's the question: did the tweet happen while he was at school?
I don't
Or
think
was
that
it done
really-
in his free time?
Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter?
So the U.S. District Judge John Thunheim found that, quote, the court concludes that Sagehorn has adequately pleaded a First Amendment claim. So he expressed his right to free speech. He was punished for it, and now he is suing to recover those damages.
Oh, so Reed is suing.
Yes, Reed is suing the school district. He is not being sued. He was suspended for several months by the school district, but not sued. So he's suing for punitive damages, recovery of attorney's fees, and then he wants the infraction taken off of his school record. Basically, he wants the suspension taken off. So, the U.S. court found that actually, yes, you were exercising your right to free speech, and a government institution punished you for it.
Right.
That is what censorship is,
Yeah.
and that is a violation of First Amendment rights. Not getting fired from a job because you run a podcast when you agreed not to do it.
What does this have to do with Quentin Tarantino?
You know what? There's not a whole lot of free speech issues in Tarantino movies. It's mostly just people getting shot and speaking really cool.
No, there's a lot more talking than shooting.
So the one thing I guess that our audience should probably know, like I think Lawrence, you already sort of touched on it, but when you start work at a company, and usually the larger company it is, the more paperwork you sign, they usually have you sign something that says you can't talk about the company, like in a public way, typically. You can talk about it amongst yourselves in the sense that like your coworkers, but you cannot talk about it in public. Talk about it on Twitter, or Facebook forum, whatever.
That's why so many people's Twitter's accounts have a disclaimer that say like, I'm Joel, I'm a Batman fan, and I like comic books, and none of my tweets represent the
My
views of my
opinions are my
employer.
own.
Right, my opinions are my own. So
Which I feel like that's up there with people saying, I don't claim to own this video that I ripped and stole and monetized.
oh,
on
right, yeah,
YouTube.
yeah, yeah.
Those
yeah.
are different.
Yeah, I like the idea that like
One is an actual regulation. Like
Yeah.
you have to disclose that your opinions are your own and not your company's.
but you can still get fired for them.
Yes.
Yeah, which is
Well,
funny.
that's also the thing. Like a company can fire you for any reason other than a number of protected classes: sex, race, pregnancy status. Like there are a number of things that companies are not allowed to fire you for. But making an ass of yourself on the internet is not a protected state yet.
So it's been so long. I was thinking about this the other day, but remember Adam Orth?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what his whole thing was, he was
just being snide about the Xbox connectivity.
which they ended up getting rid of, and they also got rid of him.
Yeah. Well. Yes.
So there's a lot of things they got rid of.
But he's publishing a game now, so he landed
is
on
he?
his feet. Yeah. It's a Drift, the space floating around Oculus game.
Oh, that! Holy shit! Well, good for him.
So yeah, I mean, silver linings. But that said, that was an excellent case study in how not to use social media
Right.
if you are connected to a giant company who is concerned about their online image.
And that's one thing that you just sort of have to be aware of, because I'm sure a lot of people on the internet I've seen so far, like, I'm one of them saying like, I can't believe Nintendo fired this guy. It sounds like if he didn't say anything negative.
He didn't. He said something that could have been interpreted as negative. Basically, he said, there are games that Nintendo will never localize because it's just not good business.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was a little flip about it, like we tend to be. He kind of jokingly derided certain very enthusiastic audiences for not acknowledging that they are a very, very small subset of a larger audience,
Really?
and that there are business realities. Yeah, I mean, I didn't listen to the podcast. I just read excerpts from it.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what the tone was. And I could be wrong about that, but there's a certain thing that happens, and we do it all the time, where once you know something and you know it very well, you start to kind of jokingly make fun of the people that say they know what it is.
That's true.
And then people that lobby for very obscure Japanese Nintendo games to be localized, I'm sure they tell themselves that it would be profitable. Just do it, Nintendo. Just do it. We know how the business works. And you're like, well, I'm there every day and I run the metrics. And no, turns out 2,000 people is not profitable.
I feel like I bring this up every week when we ever talk to the podcast. One of the most infuriating and frustrating things about the game industry is there's no union. There's no not that I'm pro union or anti union, anything like that. I'm just saying that like people get fired all the time because there's no one protecting them. So that's why those things happen. And if someone's forced to work long hours, there's no over-governing body that's protecting them.
Well, it's
like the film industry or something like that. But on top of that I mean, like I said, I'm not going to get into any of that stuff. But
That's cool.
Ooh.
It's a crowded workplace. It's
but-
kind of like being a GameStop employee. You're paid shit because there are millions of high school students that want to do it.
Right, and like with game development, there's a scrappy 23-year-old who's going to take a 37-year-old's job because he could probably do it cheaper, and he'll work longer hours. But besides that, we never actually get solid numbers on game sales.
Yeah.
So you never it's always whenever I hear people argue or it's always there's never any solid numbers or anything. It's always just like, well, I feel like that game sold well. It's like, do you? And they're like, well, Sega said it did well, or
we're still talking about it.
Yeah,
there are forum threads about it. I saw somebody tweet about it.
Lawrence and I were having a discussion with someone who was close to the industry during RTX, and they were giving us like Destiny sales numbers of what probably pretty close to they were, and both Lawrence and I were like, didn't realize it was that. I'm not going to say it was high or low.
Yeah.
But we were kind of surprised by it, and hearing that sort of info. But that's stuff that you can't really divulge or get out there because
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah.
Well, and you get fired for it.
Yep. So.
Right?
Well, actually,
I
I
would
wouldn't.
say
I
a
wouldn't
lot
get
of
fired.
a lot of people assume things because I remember this is around the Shenmue gate or whatever. People were criticizing us about Shenmue and our
we make
opinions
Shenmue?
on it, and people. Someone was telling me that it was bad of us to pick on a game like Shenmue, right?
Okay.
Because it's so small and niche and it's not fair, right? It's not fair that we should pick on a small game. And I was like, we pick on Dark Souls all the time. You never had a problem with us picking on Bloodborne or Dark Souls or any of these games. And they're like, those games are different. They sold better. And I was like, before you say something like that, you should look it up. Because they sold almost exactly the same number of copies.
Well, also we don't know.
Except From Software has 30 employees.
based off the numbers you can find.
Based off the numbers we have.
You have to kind of interpret. It's always weird. It's like looking at some weird Rosetta Stone. I'm like, I wonder if I can figure this out.
But it's just one Google search will get you somewhere close to having some sort of idea what's going on. But
Yeah.
Well, then also there was the Nintendo story. I forgot who was. Maybe it was Nintendo. Someone was saying basically, games have to come out as you have to have a planned trilogy. Basically.
Oh, that was Square Enix.
Yeah.
That was somebody at Square Enix, I should say.
That was
And-
a higher.
yeah, it was
VP
it
or
was
a-
VP
yeah.
of publishing or something like that. But he was very clear in saying this is just something that I've noticed in the gaming
Right.
industry. This is not corporate policy. But yeah, you're right.
He can't come out and be like, oh God, Final Fantasy 13 is not doing good. He can come out and go, well, you see, we need a trilogy.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's going to make, and people go, oh, okay,
Oh.
I'll continue to invest in your company. So, I don't
Yeah.
know. Shareholders, man.
So as a corollary, on this discussion of what is and isn't censorship, a copyright claim on YouTube is not censorship because it's several layers deep in private corporations. It is not the government restricting your right to speech. It is a private company that has guidelines about how copyright is enforced, and then other private companies using those tools. At best, you could say it's corporate warfare if it's used maliciously, but I still haven't seen a case of it actually being used maliciously.
Plenty of times.
Oh, well, there's Total Biscuit gets hammered a lot with that stuff. And
Well,
then-
no, there are just recently with the film Pixels, there was the company that owned the right. Someone has the copyright on the word Pixels.
The movie review.
Really,
Yeah.
they do? Wow.
Yeah, and they were doing takedowns on video trailers for the film Pixels, which I mean, some would argue maybe they're doing the Lord's work, but
It's just copyright trolling
but
now.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
seemed. It
but
seemed
that's like corporate warfare right
Sure.
there.
no,
kind of.
except for it was what was later revealed was that it was a third-party company was working for Columbia or who was Sony or whoever, and they didn't have control of them, and they were just basically doing a blanket search for the word pixels.
Oh.
So anything with pixels, it wasn't even corporate warfare. It was just
just a
people
bot.
doing using a sledgehammer to do an ice picks job, and then also some of the hilarious things that they struck down included the original Pixels short on Vimeo that the movie was based on. So they
Awesome.
struck that as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good work, world. I don't know. Well, the YouTube thing's different because I feel like that's once a week we see someone crying foul that their YouTube channel was taken down and how this is ruining their business and everything. It's like, well, don't build your business. I'm not saying YouTube is quicksand, but don't build your business on quicksand.
Yeah.
It could just disappear.
And if you're going to, you got to know the rules and play it safe. It's the whole adage ignorance of the law is no excuse.
I use that all the time.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know cocaine was bad for you.
Just because you didn't know how the copyright and claim ID system works doesn't mean you're your channel gets shut down because you were using some movie clip you didn't
Yeah.
have rights to use.
Well, also, and then I mean, we're all pretty much aware that YouTube's Content ID system is flawed.
It is.
Because it is.
There's no perfect solution though, is the
Yeah,
thing.
I'm not saying anything like YouTube is bad and copyright's good or nothing like that. It's more of like, this is the world's largest video platform, and
Yeah.
there needs to be a way to govern it so that it can exist. Otherwise, Viacom will keep trying to sue YouTube and make money off of them, and so they need some system in place that
That Viacom can agree to.
Yeah.
That's
right
really
and
what it
that
happened.
falls under DMCA because that's a government thing. Jesus,
Stealth.
this is the worst guard
Dun,
ever.
dun, 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 dun.
We got it.
Ah!
So yeah, I mean, like,
Oh shit, we got another one.
oof, boy. Yeah.
Ooh.
So I'm just saying we're all kind of in agreement that it's not a perfect system, but a system does need to be in place because
Yeah.
it's one thing when you put up a movie trailer
Well,
on
it's
your
like
channel
Facebook.
and you get a strike, but then like what happens when you put a cat video up on your channel and someone steals it and they start monetizing it and you're like, well,
Yeah.
who's protecting me?
That's what Facebook's staring down right now.
Yeah,
They're-
you're right, because they don't
Video
have
theft
any
is ridiculous.
copywritten like
Yeah.
protection, right?
Regardless though, like
They also don't really have any monetization yet either, so it's kind of weird. What are those doors? Are those
Those are
checkpoints?
checkpoint.
Oh, okay.
oh nice.
So yeah, like somebody can steal your video and put it on Facebook, and everybody can watch it there for free, and it's like you're not even getting money for this. Why are you being an ass?
It's like the
God.
new Live Leak or Daily Motion or Metacafe or other websites
Yeah,
that
or
are all
anything
E-Bombs
else.
World?
Blast FM.
Ugh,
I think
E-Bombs
E-Bombs
World.
World is still around.
It is.
No black sheep.
Scrabbles?
I aligned with something off a long time ago, so you know, those old Hatfield and McCoy raids don't die. Yeah,
So
before everyone.
I'm gonna ask we're probably veering way off topic here, but
Nah.
I'm asking the dummy question because I'm kind of a dummy. So censorship is defined by the government censoring you.
Okay, so no censorship
in that
censorship
context.
as a word happens all the time, but
Right.
Yeah.
but your First
Protected,
Amendment rights only
yeah.
protect you from governmental censorship.
Gotcha. Because we self-censor all the time. We got an email today about saying, hey, you should probably self-censor yourself.
Yeah, but there's a difference between illegal censorship
Yeah.
that you can actually take.
That you can take to
that's
court.
actionable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like
Well, like Nintendo can censor that guy because he signed a paper that
Yeah.
said, you know, I'm not going to talk about Nintendo, and then he did. So
And
he
even if
broke
he
his
didn't-
side of the agreement.
You know what? Even if he didn't sign a piece of paper and they fired him, he could take them to court for wrongful termination.
That's true, too.
And then they could be like, listen, he damaged our bottom line by saying these things. Those were corporate,
Yeah.
that was privileged information, and he just let it out there. And a court would probably be like, yeah, go
Well,
find another job.
I mean, even if what he said isn't super negative, it's a slippery slope for the company. That's how they're going to perceive everything.
Yes, you're right.
This one may not be bad, but someone will say something that's slightly less kind, and then
Yeah.
and then that's the end of it.
And then you run into the problem of setting a precedent.
Yeah.
Which is we've learned that about like copyright as well. So like if a company, say like the ludicrous lawsuits over like Bethesda suing over scrolls, I had no idea, and somebody made this point to me. It's like it's not that they think this is particularly egregious. It's that if they don't pursue this now, then somebody else can release something called the Eldest Scrolls, and then if they get sued, they can just point to there was this other game called Scrolls, and you didn't pursue them. So why are you coming after us? Like you've clearly showed that you don't want to protect your copyright.
Well, there's a history here. It kind of pertains to film. I forget the exact. Ooh. That is the worst guard. I was going to fire that guard. No, I was going to say there was a Groucho Marx film where they used the exact name of another movie and they took it to court and they ended up winning.
It was A Night in Casablanca.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, and Warner Brothers took them to court because they were using the word
Casablanca?
Casablanca.
Right.
Sure.
And they said, like, they pretty much said, where does it end? If we can't do this, no one else will be able to. That's not specifically how it went, but it was this really interesting court case that's pretty much why that doesn't exist in the film industry. Like, you can name a movie whatever you want, basically. Like, I can call 2 different movies Bad Lieutenant, and it's okay.
Right.
Like,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I guess Bethesda's trying to avoid that.
Well, yeah, you're right though. That's the power of precedent, and that is everything when it comes to legal matters. Like it's
Roy v. Wade,
And the other
man.
thing is that people forget is that Notch actually fired the first salvo in that whole debacle when he sent. What I recall happening is that he sent paperwork over to Bethesda saying that like Scrolls is ours, and Bethesda's like, what? Wait, what? Seriously, you fucker? Like, no, we've had Scrolls games before you had Scrolls games.
1 million years of scrolls.
And then I think he challenged them to like Quake 3 or something like
Yep,
that.
yeah, because he realized that his position was indefensible and he'd be going to court and wasting a shitload of money, which he ended up doing.
Oh, Notch.
Wow.
Well, he would have won that Quake 3 match, though.
That's true.
Maybe.
That would have been really
Maybe.
interesting.
Maybe. Yeah, we're not sure about that.
Yeah, I mean, Bethesda has so many fucking employees that, like...
Todd Howard might be really good at Quake.
Yeah.
Actually, I bet he would be.
Yeah.
He puts on his like leather gloves,
No, that's what I'm
his
saying.
polarized sunglasses.
Are we
He
Writing
slicks
a-
his hair back.
Are we writing our next movie?
turns his hat around.
This is the next game on.
Give me one of those cheesy bites.
Yeah, speaking of cheesy
Yeah,
bites,
just a bite. Just a bite.
just a quick reminder. Thanks again to our friends at Pizza Hut for sponsoring this podcast and for this Cheesy Bites pizza that we had to
have
pay
room for a
for.
whole slice?
We had to order this
Like-
yesterday, but the delivery person was very nice.
It came in like 15 minutes.
No,
Adam,
it didn't.
Or less.
If you complete 100% of the story mode during this Dude Soup podcast, you get to take a shot of marinara sauce.
Ooh.
Lucky guy.
Yeah. This is a
Remember,
try.
check out the Cheesy Bites pizza on pizzahut.com. Get a one topping for $11.99.
Such a deal.
It's really good though.
I mean, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And now that the air test
it's like
is over,
garlic knots at the end of a pizza.
we'd also like to remind you to eat responsibly. So a few slices of pizza is fine, but don't go crazy about it.
Are you
James
done
and I
with the
did
ad
the
read?
Yes.
James and I did the Pizza Hut thing at RTX, and at RTX you're not really allowed to eat because you're running around and doing stuff so
Yeah.
much. And we're like, thank God
wolfing
this,
down the pizza.
We're like, thank God this thing is sponsored. The gluten free is really good.
Like, we'll have pizza out there for the competitors, like for the finalists in this competition.
Like
We're
hell you
"All
will.
right."
Yeah.
Like, all right, sounds good. We're gluten-free pizza.
Yeah, we don't really abide by gluten freeness. We just thought it was really good.
God, what a
Fun
recipe
fact-
for disaster that stuff is.
Fun
though.
fact is that this is I was telling you guys, this is the second Cheesy Bites campaign I've been a part of. Because shortly after I moved out to Los Angeles, I, like most people who move out to Los Angeles do, just put myself on a casting service where you basically get cast to be extras in movies and stuff, or commercials mostly. And one of the first things I was cast in was a Cheesy Bites Super Bowl commercial starring Jessica Simpson.
I really want to see this commercial. I
fucking
want to.
awesome.
You can probably see it online. Search for Jessica Simpson Cheesy Bites.
Did you? Were you like prominent in the commercial?
I got
Absolutely
Google
not.
alerts set up for that.
I was there for the paycheck. Have you ever done extras stuff? It's kind of sad because there's a lot of people there that are like, I'm going to get discovered.
Talking about their
in
craft.
this crowd of 100 people shouting Cheesy Bites are back into a camera that's 100 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, no, you're not going to. Like, I was there, I would just sit, I would wait for them to call, I would get in the back of the crowd, I would do something, go home,
you're
get my
professional.
paycheck, right? Which is honestly, from what I've heard and what I know, having moved up in the industry, what you want. You don't want. There's this guy there who would force himself close to the camera and do like a little like ballerina jump or something, like just to get the attention, or like act. And they're like, they would stop, and the assistant director would go,
Don't do that.
"Please don't."
No,
Like,
no producer or
we
director wants that because
Yeah.
you're actually slowing down production.
We just need you to run down and say Cheesy Bites are back with the crowd with the crowd of 75 other people
All right,
doing it.
all right, you got it. But am I like recently divorced? Like, what's the status here? I'm a
Just
single
say
guy,
Cheesy
right?
Bites are
Ordering a
back.
pizza. Well, okay, fine, but I ordered the pizza for a reason.
Cheesy
right?
Bites are back.
Sure, but why am I excited about that? I mean, there's got to
Because
be.
they're Cheesy Bites, and because we're paying you $100 a day,
And because they're back.
and they're back.
I didn't realize Cheesy Bites had been around for so long.
Oh, they're back, baby.
Well,
Well,
it's
I guess
weird because
it's
they
like
were
the
back
McRib-
then.
Yeah, it's like the McRib, exactly.
but they were
Whenever,
back then.
whenever the cheese commodities
like-
hit a low, they're like,
so wait a
cheese
minute,
bites
years
are
ago-
back.
Are Cheesy Bites like a limited edition pizza?
Only when that cheese
yes,
is available.
they're like the McRib, so they come out like I don't know if they come out once a year, but McRib comes out once a year, right? It's the same
Is
thing.
it like
I like to
salmon
imagine-
spawning season?
well,
I like to
McRib
imagine there's
is
a mountain of like some like cheese that only grows a certain time.
well, McRib
Cheesy bites
season,
crops looking good this year.
McRib season
Get Pizza Hut on the phone.
is what happens when like
What are you
pork
doing?
prices are at the absolute
Connect me to
lowest.
Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
That's when they make McRibs. So I wonder what the reasoning is for Cheesy Bites.
Dust Bowl cheesy
that
bite
was the
farmers.
one.
That was
Oh,
it.
that was the one, Adam.
So confused.
And then while
Yeah,
we're
right
on the
trigger again.
while we're on the subject of cheesy bites and selling out, we have a special announcement for anyone that managed to get into this stream of Dude Soup.
Oh shit, that's right.
Oh, shit.
Oh
50 people.
shit!
Wait, hold on. Let me look.
Statistically, this is going to be even less because it's the 50 people who are actually we can check the numbers right now, but
Do one more.
the people who got into the stream and then people who are going to be at PAX and people who can't get into PAX.
You're jumping ahead here.
No, settle down.
Haven't
even
even
settle down. You're terrible.
I'm
We have 111
teasing.
people.
Haven't even
horrible
announced
at
the thing
marketing.
yet. All right, we much like the Dude Soup we're going to be doing in LA soon this weekend. We will be doing a live performance / recording of Dude Soup while we're at PAX in Seattle. So it's going to be Saturday night, the 29th, at the Vera Project at 9:00 p.m. Tickets are $15 in advance, $18 at the door. But since you guys are listening live now, you have the chance to buy it before anyone else hears about it because we haven't announced it yet.
Yeah.
So if you will be at PAX and you want to go, we got a link for you. I can't really link it in chat, so I'm gonna have to read it. It's tiny.cc/dudesouplive. That's your
Tiny.cc.
Slash
Dude Soup Live.
Dude Soup Live.
So
So
that's
you punch that in your browser window, it should take you to the ticket sales and
Explain why are we doing a live show? Why are we
Well,
charging our
there's-
fans money?
Well, there's
Oh,
a
that's
lot
good.
of reasons. One is
Money.
If you don't want to pay to go to PAX,
delicious money.
We're actually
normally
not
we
making a
do
lot of money off this.
live shows
we're
in the
not.
form of panels at the events we go to.
Yeah. We're
still doing
But
a
some
panel,
people
though.
some people are not going to
Getting at the
pay
wall, man.
the amount of money
Just to see a panel.
to go see a panel.
So save your money.
We are going to do what we like to think is affordable live performance.
It's a $15 performance.
$15 performance, costs less than most concerts in LA of a band you never heard of. But we kind of enjoyed the live atmosphere of things.
Yeah.
And we want to see
We enjoyed the validation of people
we can
clapping.
do it, and then ideally, if it goes well, then we can go to more places and do
play
more
it. I'm
things
tired of
like
this
this.
game.
Yeah, I want to see if people will come out and just and hang out with us for an hour while we do a podcast. I mean, because that's what the Dude Soup Live panel was like at RTX.
Yeah.
Basically, we just had 1,000 people yelling suggestions at us
Oh,
and
nice.
asking us questions, and it was great to have audience feedback.
Yeah.
I want to see if people will do that in Seattle too.
There's certain things that we've done that
what's
if
the
you hit right
detonator?
trigger again.
Oh, it's
hit
right trigger? Oh,
again.
there we go.
If there's certain
The
things that
detonator.
we've done that only work in like live formatting, like the comment reactions,
Right,
like people
right.
reading the comments to us and stuff like that. They only work that way, and I think if we can find more opportunities to do stuff like that, it's kind of cool.
I think the
Kinda
idea
fun.
too is like we had been talking about doing this for a while, of like being able to go to cities that we normally wouldn't go to. PAX is obviously we're already going to be there, so it worked out. So we'll be in Seattle, but this could lead to us going to smaller towns if there's a big enough audience there.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
if we can get people to pay for a show, then that basically pays our way to the city.
Yeah.
So then that way we're able to come out and do a podcast for you guys in Ohio or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
And it's not a situation like if you're going to PAX, I would actually recommend you do not go to the live show if you feel like don't feel obligated.
Adam,
if
you're
you-
really good at this.
hold on, chill the fuck out.
I'm not sure about that one.
No, I'm saying because we are still doing a panel on Sunday, so it's not like we're trying to like double dip or anything.
But
like
maybe
that.
they want to double dip.
Well,
Sure, no, I'm saying come if you want to, but don't feel like this is the only way I'm going to be able to see these
We
guys
did-
do a
you're
live
You're the worst
show.
salesman in the
so
world.
Why are
we
you
did-
telling people not to go?
No, I'm saying go. I'm just saying if you are already going to PAX, you already paid a shitload of money to go to PAX and fly out and do this. I'd be like, great, these guys are asking more money from me. He's like, no, that's not what it is. It's like we're already doing another panel
on.
that's.
They
at
wanna
PAX.
give us money. Don't worry about it.
We have only preached smart consumerism.
Sure.
So we're asking you to do that for yourself here, like all other things.
If you don't want to spend $15 on us,
if
don't.
like Adam, you don't want to go see a live show,
I don't think
you
I'm
don't
gonna
have
go.
to.
I don't think I'm going to go.
I'm thinking I might stay home that
Okay,
night.
all right.
But but if you want to do, because we did 2 panels at RTX and one was very different than the other, and so I think we could do some fun stuff. I don't know. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. something
But don't
we've talked
come.
about
But
doing for a long time.
don't.
But seriously
don't
though,
get a ticket.
don't waste the money.
It's not worth your
it's not
time.
worth it.
No.
If you want to see these guys chastise me live,
Another thing, you set yourself
Adam.
up.
Aw.
Another thing is,
Tell people not to come.
with the PAX panel system and basically everything, they're like, you have to be here at this time.
You have to wait in line
to
for
start
4
at this
hours.
time. You have to wait in line, and then when that clock hits 2 minutes,
Oh, yeah.
you have 1 minute to finish everything, and then we're kicking you out.
that's
And
right.
so, but this is not going to be that. This is going to be
Yeah.
a little bit more laid back and a little bit more fun.
The
And,
venue has rules about that kind of stuff, but
it's going to be like a music,
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
music
I mean,
performance,
we're-
except none of us can play or bring any instruments.
I was to say, that, are we doing a surprise live show now? Because
yeah.
I can't.
You're not.
You're playing keyboard.
I did. Well, yeah, I did 6 months of piano.
You're playing
lessons.
keyboard. James on guitar.
I can play when the Saints go marching in on one hand.
We should have them send us a rock band kit.
Oh
just
yeah,
play.
we
Whoa.
would totally play Rock.
Let's play
really
Rock
good
Band for an
idea.
hour?
See, these are the kind of cool things we could do if we get to do live shows.
Watch
but-
us play a game poorly.
Yeah. Watch us
pretty
get
good at
drunk
Rock
and start
Band.
bickering.
I'm not good at Rock Band.
Oh, well,
Oh, yeah, you are.
okay.
Okay.
I think you're
okay.
pretty good at
We'll
Rock
give
Band
it to
too.
you.
Best!
At what instrument am I good at?
I thought you were good at guitar, but I could be wrong.
And
I don't think I ever played guitar.
B-52s.
Yep.
I basically sound like
Adam
the guy.
Kovac.
Yeah. Joel's reveling in this. He's like, I finally have something to rip on Adam.
Did you say what the link was?
Straight up.
Sure. Let's say it again.
All right.
For the audience.
And we're also gonna, just so you know, we're probably gonna tweet out the link once
Yeah.
this live stream is over.
Joel leave?
Yeah, he left.
Oh, come
he's
back.
going
We made him mad.
Tiny.cc, tiny.cc/dude soup live.
They can't see that on the camera.
That's disgusting.
That's too much.
You touched him real bad. And now that mic's broken.
Bad touch.
Joel's little belly area is my favorite. Tiny lower belly area.
So tiny.cc/dudesouplive if you guys want to go, and if you don't want to go, it's okay too.
Yeah, don't worry about
Hey
it.
man, no big deal.
Yeah.
I guess the thing to cut to the root of it, the thing that I'm uncomfortable about and don't want to do is charge people for access to us.
Oh yeah.
This is more like
Oh, I'm not gonna. They're not gonna see me at all.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
he's not
behind
gonna
a
be
desk
there.
for an hour and then leave right away.
Desk.
Yeah.
What, you bringing a desk?
I'm not saying a word.
Mahogany.
Bruce is the one selling the tickets.
it's just it's like, so when we were at RTX, like we were just like, when we got there, you know, crowds started descending, which is weird, but also we ended up just like chilling in the drive-thru of a hotel, and like cars were trying to drive through, and we ended up packed into this hot, sweaty corner. And this is just like, it's a way for us to have a dedicated space for that sort of thing, and not inconvenience everybody or go to a restaurant where it's like, it's clearly not suited to have 50 people there. So this is just like this is what these venues are made for, and it costs money. So, you know, we can't really pay for that out of pocket because we don't have that money.
And also, if it sounds like and by the way, none of this money goes to us.
No.
It goes to Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, this
So just so you guys are aware, like we're not making money off of, I guess, pimping this out.
But it's also, they didn't ask us to do this
Oh, yeah, we
to
did.
make money. We wanted to do this because we want to do live events with, like, that people can show up to.
I'd say the big takeaway is the only way we can do this is if a venue allows us to go there, and the only way a venue is going to allow us to use their
If
space
we make
is,
money,
is
yeah.
if we can make money.
So it's like this, or the other option is we all jump in a van and drive up to Akron, Ohio to meet our fans. And
But even the van, we'd have
yeah,
to pay
the van
for.
costs money. We got to buy the van, and
At
then
least $500 for a good van.
we're gonna lose
Anyway,
out on
it should be
production
fun.
time. Yeah, it should be fun. So
No
again,
promises.
tiny.cc/dudesouplive. And you know what? You guys can, if somebody is in chat and they're like, oh, people should know about that, you guys can go ahead and tweet it out or whatever.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Or tell your friends if you want to make sure they get tickets if you're going to PAX.
There's
yeah.
no chat.
They don't want to. They don't want to see us, Lawrence. I've
be
told
fun.
this over and over.
Adam, the glowing thing.
Yeah,
this is
it's-
to the
it's a
game.
lure.
The glowing thing drags them there. So if you toss
They
it
have to see it,
beyond
though.
him,
There it goes. So
Yeah,
it has to
but-
be in their
but
vision
now you're
cone.
going the
and
wrong way.
Then
I
they'll
am?
just
Yeah.
you want to go up.
Oh,
go
sorry.
up.
No, up.
I'm reading the text.
Yeah, he's reading
All
the
right.
story.
And then moving on, we've got a couple of interesting kind of connected stories about the progress of technology and how it affects PC gaming.
Technology.
Technology.
And you.
Somebody found out that two extremely outdated forms of DRM from like 2006 don't work in Windows 10 anymore.
Oh, no.
Sekirom and Safe Disk, both of which were just like, basically it was the sort of thing where somebody would say it and then spit just to express their distaste of it. This was like during the dark ages of PC gaming in the mid 2000s. It was horrible.
So SecureROM or SecuROM or whatever it is, what was that about again? Like, how did it work?
It basically needed firmware level access to your CD or DVD drive so that it could read certain markers on the disk.
Oh, got it.
The idea was that it would be all hardware. There's no way that software could spoof it. And to a degree that was true, but then people figured out how to just rip out that authentication and
Right.
you know, everything got pirated anyway. Even back then, it was a pain in the fucking ass because not every drive supported it. I can't remember what game it was, Company of Heroes, I think? I don't remember exactly, but I remember trying to play it. My drive did not work with SecuROM, and it told me I didn't own the game every time I tried to play it. So,
That's what you get for trying to pirate it.
right? So I had to drive back to Fry's and buy a $50 DVD drive to just sit on top of my computer so I could actually play the fucking
Man,
thing.
Fry's is a good store.
I remember, I think it was Assassin's Creed 2 or something like that. Like, it was so broken.
Oh, Ubisoft had a horrible track record of DRM at the time too.
Well, at one point, they're like, I think their customer support just said, here's a CD crack I found on this site. Like, just use this.
and it worked.
I'm sorry.
Weird. But yeah, that was when they were doing like heartbeat check-ins. If your internet dropped out, you'd get booted out of the game.
I remember that.
Safe Disk. I'm not too familiar with that. I didn't play any games that use Safe Disk. I can only assume that it worked the same way. where it had like hardware level access to your DVD drive. In order, like it would actually read certain things about like where the lens was moving and when to like read certain serial keys off the disc.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty hardcore DRM protection, and that's why people hated it. But now apparently in Windows 10, I'm guessing the OS doesn't allow that level of access anymore, because OSs typically get more and more secure.
I read the other side of the story that was saying Windows 10 could just disable like pirated,
I was about to get there.
pirated software.
Getting ahead of me again, Adam.
Oh,
You're too
I
quick.
read this. I read this last night.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. So the Microsoft end user license agreement was updated with a very peculiar paragraph, and this is the whole thing. It's a little wordy, but it's also written very familiarly, which is interesting. Usually EULAs are not like that. But it says, quote, sometimes you'll need software updates to keep using the services. We may automatically check your version of the software and download software updates or configuration changes, including those that prevent you from accessing the services, playing counterfeit games, or using unauthorized hardware peripheral devices. You may also be required to update the software to continue using these services. This makes a lot of people angry, but if you've used Steam, you've been doing this already. That's the thing that kind of drives me a little crazy, is that people have willingly accepted this level of DRM and copyright protection into their lives, but it's from Valve, so they think it's okay. And now it's from Microsoft, and it's horrible. But, this is the brave new world. If you don't like it, install Linux. That's kind of where it goes to. And I've actually seen some articles popping around about there, and I think it's a totally valid response. I think Steam on Linux now has basically made that a little more viable as a gaming platform. And if you love your command line and don't want Cortana sniffing through your emails, that's basically your option.
Well, it's kind of like Joel's paranoid about all this Google stuff, basically like Google tracking
Google
his
Now.
location and
Yeah.
like Google email.
I gotta admit though, that's pretty handy.
He has a
Google's
Nexus
like
6.
And he has a Nexus 6. But the problem is that at this point, like, the people have your information.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those things where, like, if you're not doing anything bad, and I know this sounds ridiculous, sounds like your dad telling you this. If you're not doing anything bad, you got nothing to worry about.
So funny. You know who said that, right?
My dad?
George Washington.
No, it was like the head of Google.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was on
Larry
some,
Page?
Schmidt.
Well, it's an old phrase,
He
too.
was also an old
Well,
man.
I mean, it's also something that like
That dictators say.
yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's
So-
not something that dictators say. Come
Kind
on.
of.
No,
I'm pretty sure I can
It's
find
something
them
that-
when Hitler and
I'm sure
Obama said that.
dictators have said it just like Larry Page has said it.
So
I mean, like,
here's how I feel about it. Is that like I use a Nexus 6, and I understand the irony of me using a Nexus 6, but also being terrified of like giving them too much information.
see?
I don't want to be I don't want to check all the boxes that just says that allow them to take everything they want to whenever they want to.
Bottom right.
I at least want to make them work for it. You know.
So
So I'm gonna make them
using
Well,
their
Joel,
email client
then-
and using their phone
that's
and
because
texting
of,
through their
you know,
service.
then you
Signing up
gotta
for Google
professional
Fi.
reason.
what I'm saying is that the problem is at this point, I'm sure Windows 8 has something like that in it already.
It does.
course.
You've
So-
knocked out a lot of it though.
So if you want to go in there and rip it out, I'm sure you can, and I'm sure you can probably do it illegally. But at the same time, they have it, and they've been doing it to you for a very long time. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying at this point,
Yeah, just
that's
be
what's
aware.
happening.
As soon as this podcast is over, Lawrence and I are going to start working on a sci-fi novel series. In the future,
Yep.
the only currency, the only fuel is privacy.
That sounds really stupid.
You sacrifice your
commodify
you
privacy?
sacrifice your privacy.
They call them private points.
People have a certain amount of time that they're allotted per day.
People have a certain amount of private points.
Yeah, private.
I got
That's
one-
what we'll
I
use
got
in the
one
final
thing
They
to
call it
draft.
privates.
They have a certain amount of
A certain
time
amount of privates.
per year
Yeah.
that they can utilize.
They
Why did you
elongate
do
those
that?
privates.
Can I make
did
them
you do that?
larger?
They can barter for them. Yeah,
understand.
you
Yeah,
can
they
barter
make-
for them. Say you have some
you
scrap
can-
metal.
yeah.
You can
make
trade
So
your
I can
scrap
take
metal.
some of Bruce's and Bruce can take some of mine.
Yeah.
Can you make your privates do this? Go back and forth?
Yeah, between the two people.
Hold on, guys. I think you're misconstruing this idea. This is supposed to be a parallel for what Larry Page, that dictator, said.
I know. So either way, yes. Go ahead, Joel. Install Linux.
I mean, that's so that.
I can't play Heroes of the Storm on Linux.
Exactly.
Ooh, it's a slightly inconvenient
Exactly.
thing. I
Yeah,
guess
no.
I'll just sacrifice all my info.
James, I mean, what you said already happens. You basically pay for Facebook with your private information.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's a service. They provide you the ability to connect with people. But
So let's take the subtlety of that and just literalize it.
your only real option, if you really don't want people looking at your data, is why are you doing that?
Yeah, why'd you walk so
There's,
close?
no, there's nowhere else.
What the fuck are you supposed to do?
The little panels create the noise.
Yeah,
You're not
the
doing
panels
that.
create the
Oh, I
noise.
didn't.
I like why do you keep going over the panel? Because
Here,
that's the
shoot-
only
shoot
spot
one
I can
right
go.
in the spot where the gap is.
There?
No, against the other wall, like that. Yeah.
There's no wall there.
Yeah,
We'll go
the
right
problem is
over.
Other way. Angle it the other way.
That?
The other one.
game.
Yes. Try that and detonate.
Oh, okay, I can see that. Yeah.
It's not a detonator though.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
just a thing that he sees.
Well, that almost worked.
So the only mechanic that I can notice in here is
hate
that
this
he
game.
keeps looking at the thing while moving towards.
Yeah, so you can summon him somewhere else.
So you can basically get him to continue looking at the objects that's distracting him.
just throw it
This
while
is
you're
the
hitting
reason
the
why I
heck
didn't like Thomas's Alone. It's the same thing, just slightly different.
Yeah, I didn't like
That's
that.
where you
Where
make
I-
1,000 levels.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's just,
Well, this is different enough to be.
no, it's not.
Yeah, it's
Well, you're having
Well-
trouble, so. Well, I mean, Thomas Was Alone was like, stack these guys up to get up this staircase and do it over and over and over again. Good.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah.
an even longer staircase. This
Well,
is at
now
least
here's a
little
new
different.
shape. Oh, isn't it so whimsical? No, it's not. I wish I didn't pay money for
Who's
this.
jaded now?
I don't know. Well, I had this realization. I picked up Assassin's Creed Unity again now that it's not completely broken on PC.
Yeah.
And it runs okay.
Yeah.
And it's still janky. It's kind of funny. Like bodies glitch through walls and shit, and it's funny.
Good times.
But it is super repetitive. But at least it's fun. Like you're running. I'm not asking these developers who are probably two dudes.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Who?
It's a smaller team.
Yeah, exactly.
I
They're
mean-
not going to make Assassin's Creed, but like at the core of it, I'm like, I'm having fun doing
Give me the- give me the-
parkour.
stop
in-
complaining, give me the
You have to
color.
realize that these developers got to
What?
a starting
How did you-
point and they were like,
Bruce wanted the longer.
let's
cable.
make a game entirely
we could
focused
all
around
Around your
stealth.
legs.
So you can already
Ah.
start by telling them to go fuck themselves because they basically picked one of gaming's least favorite mechanics,
Right.
Like to
If only it
make
was an
the
escort
basis
mission
for their
as well.
entire game.
People like stealth.
And I agree with Adam. Portal, this is not. Portal elaborates on each puzzle, kind of like this does. But see now, go for it. Go.
No,
Just
I'm gonna
run.
step on the thing.
Just run. Just run.
There, see?
Yes, perfect.
I got it. Oh, no, I got it.
No, actually, so this is my frustration with this game right now. There's this little thing that
Yeah, you have to
fills
wait for
up.
it to recharge
Yeah,
every
that's
time.
fucking great. How about when we start the checkpoint, it's already full, so I don't have to keep waiting because now I just don't want to play the game anymore.
Well, maybe you wait until it's full.
Look,
across
I agree with Adam. This wasn't fun when I played it. It was just sort of a puzzle solving.
the early levels are fine, but that should be the end of it.
Yeah.
Move.
Once they're like, we're
Move!
going-
Why isn't he moving?
Because he's staring at the thing.
staring.
I thought he moved while he was staring.
Look, Chappie does not look at anything other than what Chappie wants to look
Hold
at.
on. Toss it into that back corner, right?
This one?
That wall. Yeah, right on that wall.
He's still gonna be in the way.
So, anyways,
No.
Joel, everybody knows where you are at all times. So,
No, they don't.
sorry, man.
I have location services turned off.
It doesn't matter.
I'm sure that makes
Yeah,
a
I know,
huge
right?
difference.
Now,
I gotta
walk
make him move,
not
yeah.
on the pads.
I can't. Wait,
Walk between the line and the pads.
Oh god.
Oh,
I don't think
yeah.
that space exists.
This is a good game.
I'm okay with it.
I also, why were all the toilets in the beginning just out in the middle of the hallway?
Yeah, who
It was
knows?
a giant bathroom.
Yeah, but there's a guy standing right there walking back and forth as you're trying to take a shit.
It's a giant bathroom.
All right.
Oop.
It's the most secure bathroom in the world.
So Joel, are you're against the Patriot Act? I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah,
and then
big time.
Also,
So you're not a patriot?
what,
No.
what
You're
have you
against
done,
freedom?
What have you done to? Yeah, are you against freedom? What have you done? What have you done to combat the Patriot Act?
I wrote my Congress representative,
What?
Adam Schiff.
And
Nice.
what did he write back?
No.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh.
that stings.
Well,
That's
see,
politics, baby.
What's really cool with modern Google services, you can tell when someone automatically deletes your email.
You can see it. You
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
when he deletes it.
Yeah,
right there.
a webcam will capture his face
What?
when he reads your email and doesn't give a shit.
Maybe you try and get the other guy on the other side of the hallway to hit the pad to draw the other guy out. Maybe we're thinking too small.
Here,
Maybe.
hit
I can't-
X or whatever.
I can't make them. I can't make them move though.
Yeah,
Well,
you
if
can't,
you were
you can't
in
take them off
range.
their path. All they do is if they see something on
There
their
you go.
path, they'll
No,
hold
you don't
still.
go.
He's gonna turn
Watch
around
this.
the other way. Oh,
Yeah,
that
no.
might. This
Wait,
is gonna be
no,
That
crazy.
might work, but I'm not
no
sure.
way. Unless you
It
toss
depends-
another one up.
It depends which way
Yeah,
you
can you
turn.
toss-
Toss. Wait, now you can. Yeah.
Ooh, we saw ya.
He
He's
turned
like,
left. So
Hey.
I like the idea that it's his first day and he's like, "Sir, I found someone.
And I'm staring at him.
I don't know what to do." Anyway, RTX was fun.
He's the boss's
That's
kid.
fun.
Yeah, I had to get them at RTX. I don't. We haven't done a podcast since getting back from Austin, have
I
we?
know.
Nope.
We haven't.
And this is our first one.
I had a good time.
Baby's first podcast.
It's very.
So he
toss
doesn't
it.
move.
Um,
He's gonna turn left. Oh yeah, he swivels around the wrong way for that to
He
work.
swivels towards the gap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know there's something simple here that we should be doing, and I just don't care.
This is what video games are. It's a series of problems
Yeah,
you have
but
to
you
think
pick
and
the
solve.
games so that way they're like, oh, these are stakes that I actually want to
Down.
Yeah.
achieve.
Swivels down. I want to achieve
Can you
this.
get down into the gap?
I don't know,
And
I-
then shoot it on the.
Huh?
Get.
You did it.
Welcome to the most exciting podcast
never mind.
in the world.
Fuck
Yeah,
it,
we're
fuck it.
looking at this
Anybody
video
want
game.
any more cheesy bites?
Apologies
No,
to
I'm
our
full.
audio
I've had like
listeners.
2
Why are you apologizing? This is great content.
Cheesy bites?
No,
Not
I
really.
ate my pizza responsibly like Bruce.
Joel, I have more interesting questions about the Patriot Act for you.
Okie dokie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was
fire
cool.
is
Oh
what
yeah,
I was
now
going.
it's really making it
Fucking-
interesting.
What about? Well, it's more exciting than. Oh no! Fire the thing
Wait a
there!
second,
Fire the
wait a
gap!
second.
Oh no! Shoot the gap!
Does it make noise if you creep over?
Regardless,
Yeah,
I
it
want to
does.
see what. So
But
supposedly,
he was still looking at the thing.
That's what I told you.
Lawrence.
What?
We got to stop paying attention.
We have to
the
stop
game.
paying attention to the game.
Sorry.
So supposedly, the Patriot Act has stopped a lot of terrorist activities.
Almost all of
It
them.
hasn't? You know that for a fact?
Yeah, the studies say like, nah, the Patriot Act's done shit.
You know that?
Hold
You know
on.
that for a fact?
Hold on. The problem is it's asking for qualification on
fast.
things that didn't happen.
I know that's a problem.
And that's always tough.
Yeah, prove to me God doesn't exist.
Yeah, so
Checkmate.
that's the tough thing about
I'll
that.
show you a banana.
You can only count the things that have been stopped, and then it's like, well, would those have gone through anyway? I don't know. It's a thankless thing. Like, I'm not in favor of it or against it, but I do think that like it's like the Nintendo thing. It's the world we live in.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to change bigger things before we worry about Google stealing our information.
Joel.
Nah.
Well, Joel, they already stole your information and they already know where you are at all times.
They don't know I'm here right now. I've used
They do.
only 4 Google products since I've arrived at this office.
Also, like, there's people posting their kids' baby pictures on
Yeah.
Facebook or whatever. It's like they've already made the choice for their child.
Then they know
have
to get
their
served
entire
ads for
Not
like
cool,
baby
by the
food
way. I
and
won't be
diapers
doing
and
that.
shit.
Well, you're
fuck,
sterile,
that's not gonna
so
work.
We're not going to post any pictures. I'm holding you to that. When you have a child, and if I see Joel's baby pictures
They
on
won't
Facebook,
be coming from my account.
that's
I'll
bull.
tell you that.
Your wife's going to post.
Here's what I've always said to do.
Ah,
My suggestion has
Look at
been
the thing. Damn it.
to
Post
to-
other people's baby pictures.
Yeah. Find fake
Stock
baby
photography?
pictures.
Oh.
Post those baby pictures as your kids' baby pictures. But then I guess the internet only remembers what the internet remembers. So ultimately that will become your identity.
Yeah.
When you grow up, you'll be like, that's you. It's like, no, my parents posted fake pictures. No.
No.
Facebook tagged you.
Yeah.
That's you.
You're-
This is how you look.
You're a Latino.
Oh,
you're a
fuck.
Latino baby.
damn.
Now you can't get a car loan because they think you look this way.
Nice swivel around.
Well, just regardless.
Hover car loan.
We always there was always the two schools of thought.
Self-driving car.
Growing up, it was 1984 or Brave New World, and it kind of became a combination of both. Yeah. And now it's
Shit.
he'll look at it.
Yeah,
But
that
then
was
he's
not the
looking-
one I wanted.
Chappie, like you.
He goes the other way.
I gotta stop looking at this game. It's frustrating.
Right in front of you.
Regardless, we're just keeping tabs on ourselves. Like we're buying drones and just staring into each other's homes and then uploading the footage to YouTube where it'll never go away. So it's like,
Yeah, we made this world more than the corporations have taken it away.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's very hard for one small body to govern a large body of people. It's easier just to give the tools to the people and let them do it themselves. So we're doing the Big Brother's job for
You hear
them.
that, Joel? We're doing Big Brother's job.
This
for him.
is harsh truths time.
It is.
Oh yeah, sorry. I got a little real.
You-
Well, no, you're absolutely
No,
right.
But I was gonna add to that, like, you can blame the government, but the government is an accurate reflection in a lot of ways of the people in which the world in which they live.
Vaguely incompetent.
So you can only get so frustrated when they are actually kind of representing all the dumb people that are also posting their kids' pictures on Facebook.
Oh, you got me.
Get it?
Oh, you didn't get the last one.
I really hate
No,
everything about this game.
You're absolutely
Adam.
right, and that's sort of the problem, Joel, is that we gave you all the tools with your Google Nexus phone, and now everybody knows where you are because you're using the phone.
The only time I realized when
You
we
need
were
to go
at
live in the woods.
When we were at RTX, I periscoped from the bar,
You did.
and everyone got real upset with me.
No, just mostly Lawrence.
Lawrence knew. Lawrence was aware.
Because
People started showing up out of nowhere.
Because all my location services are always turned off. But the reason that Periscope location services weren't turned off is because they had an update, and it downloaded an update.
it automatically turned it
It
on.
automatically returned it
I love
on.
this idea.
gotcha.
that You have this blanket statement of like, I turn it off. Except some apps keep it on, and then it updates, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's the perfect system.
And as soon as I notice, like if I see a picture has been geotagged or something, I'll immediately go into the app and turn it off.
That was a weird moment when we got stuck at the airport after RTX. We all had like different
delays.
we had different delays. Most of us ended up being there for about 8 hours, Bruce hightailed it the fuck out of there. Joel got out of there first.
Yeah, Joel's first.
Joel's preferred because they're like, we noticed you geotagged this location.
Thank you.
We saw that you were coming, and he was like, and he wasn't even looking. So what? Oh, I was on Twitter. Or he was periscoping the whole thing. But we got stuck there, and I tweeted out a photo of a fan because her phone died, and it was near like
I saw that.
some random food place, like a Salt Lick or whatever
Yeah.
that's at the airport. And this guy runs up and he goes, "I saw your photo on Twitter, and I found the location, and I found you." And I'm just like,
Go around.
what?
You can
Oh,
go
yeah.
beyond it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely saw that.
So yeah,
right,
that,
yeah.
that was an odd moment, but it was very much like Joel's Periscope moment, where it was like people were finding the bar that we were at based on the location. It's like a little scary.
At least
be aware
we
of
got
that
to go
stuff.
to that bar for a little bit, and we all got to achieve something awesome, which were basically vape shots.
Yeah.
And slapping a bag.
and doing a
Slapping
punching
a
bag.
bag. Oh, yeah.
Doing a punching bag to see who was the strongest.
Well, James brought this up because he was the strongest.
It's totally
was.
James.
Though I also conceded that Lawrence and Matt Peak probably would have hit harder if they weren't so in their heads about having the right kind of form.
Shit.
Oh, I see.
Because I fucking Superman punched that shit through my whole body.
Yeah, he
into
flew
it
across
to
the
try-
bar.
To
That's pretty-
try and get as much power behind my punch as possible.
Explain the punching bag for those who do not know what that is.
It's a punching bag, like a speed bag that hangs down.
exactly like
and then
Rocky
you
IV.
put in like $12, and you get to punch it once.
I only
and
put in 5.
It's like it's basically the Ivan
Yeah.
Drago
Yeah.
punching machine that
Yeah.
has a number that goes up and tells you how strong you punch.
Also, another important point: I wasn't there either.
Bruce
So
wasn't
I didn't
there.
get a
Bruce
chance. I
wasn't
wanted
there.
to try
Wasn't
it.
there. That was his choice.
That
was his choice.
That was not my choice.
To not
I didn't
be
know-
there.
I didn't know you guys were going to recess. I was like, "There's free alcohol at another place. Why are you going to recess?"
Well, because then we joined you there.
Well, they
I know.
told I was planning something else, and they're like, we don't want to do any of that, so we're going to change all of your plans. I was like, okay, cool, thanks.
Huh? There
I
were
do
plans?
Yeah, you guys don't remember that?
Wait, what were your plans?
You were gonna go to some arcade.
Yeah, a better
like
arcade.
100 miles away.
Yeah, it had way better games. It didn't have fucking slap a bag game.
But then
Which
we
ended up
James is
being
the
awesome.
best.
But we ended up.
Anyway, I punched it, and I not only got the highest score out of all of us, but I changed the machine. The machine had to turn over to have a new high score on it. And so that was a lot of fun. But I also conceded that Matt Peak and Lawrence punched it like a boxer would throw a punch in a fight, not like
When you threw your whole
someone
body at
like
it.
not like someone who was like trying to punch a punching machine as absolutely hard as they could punch a punching machine. So
That other kid had.
when
That's
we
basically
ultimately
the
never
strongest man in the
when we
world.
ultimately never go back there, they will probably punch harder if they decide to commit
And
themselves.
now explain vape shots.
Vape
Oh, man.
shots, vape shots.
Never
Well,
been
we were at
happier.
the bar, and I went, "Whoop," and then like little dots came out of my eyes, and I was like, "What do you guys think a vape shot
It's a
is?"
vape shot.
Anyway, a vape shot is basically alcohol
Fuck.
that has been turned into gas, right?
Vaporized, if you will.
It's been
Illegally, really?
vaporized.
Makes
No.
it cooler.
No, it's not illegal.
Only criminals do vape shots.
And then they
Bad idea.
fill a bottle, basically like a Pepsi liter bottle or whatever.
It's a Soda Stream bottle.
A Soda Stream bottle, but it's a good size bottle. Like it's about this
Oh,
big.
with vapor.
and then
vape.
the guy
Vapor.
pops
Vape.
it. The guy pops it, and then you stick a straw in, and you basically huff it like if it were a bomb.
Did you guys get wasted?
No,
No, not at
Lawrence had
all.
Lawrence
Three.
had 3 of them, and there was
I mean, I could feel the effects of it.
That was it, though?
I couldn't
Has
really
it.
feel.
Takes more than
anything.
3 shots to waste a Lawrence.
That's right.
Yeah, I couldn't
Well,
really
vape
feel
shots.
anything when I did it, other than a burning sensation in my lungs.
Yeah,
We did it wrong. But we did it wrong.
Burned like a motherfucker.
But the guy behind the bar also didn't
you're
really
sucking
give
in
us
alcohol.
a great pitch on how to do it.
no,
Well, 'cause
well,
I'm
you got to
sure-
figure it out.
I'm sure he looked at us and he said, "Those are some cool cats who have vaped before. They
Yeah,
don't
those are-
need no instructions."
Those are vape pros.
Look at these
even
dumb
though
tourists willing to give me $5, basically, is what he
Come on,
said.
dude. Oh, there we
looking
go.
at the thing.
Got it.
Anyway, so we did that, and there was one point where I looked over and saw Lawrence, who is in this kind of shitty retro arcade bar, sitting there with a straw in his mouth, vaping, and I was like, "This is the happiest Lawrence will ever be."
'Cause of the cyberpunk future?
All they needed was a trench coat that went down to just below his knees, and he would be
They weren't playing the right music either.
some woman to come up to him.
They would have to play like 80s electro or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
And then I ruined it.
Yeah.
And Joel ruined
And then
it.
Joel ruined it by taking everybody to a place where you could get free alcohol. That's what I was drinking.
That's how I
free
ruined it.
alcohol.
All right, well, that's it for this week's Dude
Really?
Stew.
That's it?
I think it is. I mean,
Yeah, it's over.
yeah, we're over time.
Yep.
Oh.
Ah!
Oh, there goes
Goodbye.
your phone.
Oh, no, the government can't find you.
Oh, God.
It's a vape
But
shot.
anyway, one more time, go to tiny.cc/dudesouplive Buy your tickets today so we can get rich.
Or don't.
We are going to only play this stupid stealth game.
God.
So we pay us $15.
Why y'all crotchety about this game?
More,
I don't like this
more
game
of
either.
this game on the channel.
No.
We're going to be doing a whole
God.
series.
No, we're not.
No, we're gonna play nothing but Vindictus
Why do
for
you
the
guys
next
hate
6
this game?
weeks.
I don't get it.
Hold on, I want to see if I can kiss Joel, but in the camera. Tell me when I'm close.
You're there. Nice.
It's a normal stealth game.
All right. Bye, guys. See you
Bye,
later.
everybody.
Thanks for watching and listening.
Everybody's
Cheesy
all.
bites are back.
Microwave that shit.
Yeah, how many cheesy bites are left?
2 pieces, I think.
Yeah.
Those are heavy.
Save some for when the podcast gets really boring.
Yeah,
I like that the people in the last row are like, me.
Sorry, I should have gotten earlier.
All right, Lawrence, hit it.
All right, well, welcome everyone to a fucking like stuffy, hot, kind of humid bowl of dude soup. You guys are cheering an awful lot. You know, it's just guys talking for a while,
Like
right?
Mom used to make.
That's kind of balmy. You get that weird moistness around your midsection.
God, there we go.